Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the Bandai SH Figuarts Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. Now McFarlane made a 7-inch scale Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad wearing her dress. This is more of a 6-inch scale Harley Quinn, and she's in her more traditional outfit from the beginning of the film. Pretty excited to have a different version. I do wish this was a taller figure, but I'm still happy with what I've got. I got my figure from amyamy.com. Pretty good price. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the front, SH Figuarts, Harley Quinn, DC's The Suicide Squad, Bandai. Here she's in the package. I can see she has two different heads. Can't really see any other accessories yet. One side, somebody says SH Figuarts, Harley Quinn. Other side, same thing. The back, you can see Harley in a couple different poses. And there is her barcode in case that happens to help anybody. So with no further ado, let's open her up. And I did end up getting two of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7-inch unopened Batman action figure collection. And here she is, next to the McFarlane Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. Just to put it in perspective for you, you can see the size difference of the packaging alone. Alright. Now that we got this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out. She does come with 7 alternate hands, totaling 9 interchangeable hands, and 2 heads. Looks like Warner Brothers' no gun mandate affected this figure as well. She doesn't come with a gun, but she does have a couple of trigger fingers, so it sure makes you think she was intended to have a gun. The most appropriate accessory for this Harley Quinn would have been a rocket launcher. That's what she used at the beginning of the Suicide Squad while wearing this costume. But before I take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. She's in her outfit from the opening scene, and it's more or less something similar to her iconic Harley Quinn outfit. Red, black, got some diamonds all over it. In the film, she only wore this outfit for the beginning, and for the majority of the film, she wore a red dress. I'm very pleased to have this version represented in my action figure collection. McFarlane gave us the red dress version, but I think I would have preferred to have a version like this from McFarlane. So let's take a look at her. Starting off with her face, I think the likeness is pretty good. I can definitely see Margot Robbie there. The makeup looks pretty nice. Got the black lipstick, red under her eyes. Got the little sort of heart-shaped teardrop under her right eye. Black goggles up top. Blonde hair, once again looking pretty good. She's got a braid, one red, one black. I like the way that looks. Little necklace on her neck. Pale flesh skin. Outfit appears to be some sort of leather. Red and black all over it. Diamonds all over it. Signature Harley Quinn look. The back says "Live Fast, Die Clown." Looks like some form of double-jointed elbows. Single-jointed knees, but SH Figuarts joints are pretty unique. Stitching on the boot looks pretty good. I like her belt. You can see her initials, HQ. Not a bad figure. Happy to have this version represented. My only sort of gripe, and I knew this going in, was she's quite small. I mean, I wasn't tricked into getting her. I knew what I was getting when I ordered this figure. But I just wish the SH Figuarts were a little bit taller. And just a closer look at her face and head sculpt, I personally think they did a really good job. I can see Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn. And here's the figure broken down as far as she can go, with all of her removable parts detached. Now let's look at her accessories, and let's start off with her hands. She has a total of 9 hands, 5 left hands, and 4 right hands. Here she is with her first pair of hands. These are her fists. Here's her next pair of hands. These are some open and relaxed hands. These would be good at her sides. Here's her third pair of hands. These are a couple of gripping hands with a trigger finger. Now that really makes me think she was originally intended to come with guns. Why else would she have a trigger finger? This figure should have come with a rocket launcher. She also used a pistol at the beginning, I believe. Warner Brothers has this no-gun mandate, any officially licensed DC figures from pretty much any company, McFarlane, Mezco, Mafex, etc., they are not allowed to come with guns in any way, shape, or form. The figures have to be submitted for approval, and if they have guns, they'll simply make them take them out. Here's her fourth pair of hands. These are a standard pair of gripping hands. And she has one alternate left hand. This one's a gripping hand and has a perfect circle on it. Makes you kind of think maybe she was supposed to go with the javelin and that would go in that hand. Although a javelin is not a gun and that wouldn't be banned. McFarlane included a javelin with their Harley Quinn. So I'm not sure what the purpose of this gripping hand is. Now let's look at her heads. One has a more normal expression, and one has an open, smiling mouth, almost laughing. This would presumably be when she's firing the rocket launcher, or really enjoying what she's doing. Here's her first head. This one has the more standard, normal expression. And here's her second head. This one has her mouth open. She's laughing. You can tell with her overall facial features that she's really having a good time right now. Now an accessory that she should have come with is a rocket launcher. This is a quad rocket launcher, a little bit different than what she used in the film. This came with a Mezco Harley Quinn figure. Fits in her hand pretty nicely. The eyepiece actually goes over her eye. Looks pretty cool. But she should have come with the appropriate version from the Suicide Squad. And although that quad rocket launcher looks pretty cool with Harley Quinn, fits in her hand good, and actually came with a Harley Quinn figure, a regular looking RPG would be much more screen accurate. Here she is, holding a more standard looking rocket launcher. I believe this came with a Mafex Dark Knight Joker. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and her accessories, now let's check out her height. From bottom to the top of her head, she's sitting at about 5.8 or 5.9 inches tall, which can translate to about 15 centimeters. And that's my biggest gripe about these SH Figuarts figures. They look very good, but they're just so small. She's not even 6 inches tall. Overall, I prefer the 7-inch scale. Very impressed with the McFarlane figures. I do collect a wide variety of stuff, but this is almost the smallest action figure line that I collect. Now let's check out her articulation. Starting with her head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. She can look up about that far, down about that far. Can't tilt her head from one side to the other, giving a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. She's got a butterfly joint between her shoulder and chest area, just increasing the range of motion a little bit. There's no bicep cut, but she has pretty good amount of rotation in her shoulder. Elbows, some kind of double jointed, they go in about this far. There is no rotation there, or very minimal. Her wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. In her waist here, she's got a ball joint in her torso, can rotate around, go forward and back. In her waist here, looks like another one, rotate around, go forward and back, giving her a pretty wide range of motion in her torso area. Legs, does a splits, ball joints in there. And go forward about that far, back, pretty much not at all. She does have a thigh cut. Single jointed knees, they go in about this far, no rotation. Then her ankle here, go forward and back. Can rotate just a little bit, doesn't really seem to go further than that. And tilt and rock just a tiny bit as well. And she has some toe articulation. Here's Harley Quinn approaching the island of Corto Maltese. She's climbing up, trying not to be seen by their local army. Harley Quinn pulls this rocket launcher out of her bag, and she decides to go nuts against the army. Amanda Waller tells them to proceed with the mission, and Harley Quinn proceeds with no hesitation. Here's Harley Quinn firing the rocket launcher, and you can tell she's enjoying herself. After firing a couple rockets, here's Harley Quinn hiding behind the wall, dodging some gunfire. She's got her pistol ready to go. Rick Flag comes to join her behind the wall. They're both trapped behind the wall with enemy gunfire blazing. Of course, at this point in the film, this is when they get separated. Now let's check her out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other SH Figuarts action figures. Here she is, next to the most recently released SH Figuarts Harley Quinn figure. This is Harley Quinn from Birds of Prey. Then, next to an SH Figuarts Harley Quinn for the first Suicide Squad film. And here she is, next to an SH Figuarts Injustice Harley Quinn. This is the closest to the same outfit as the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn figure. Here are all the SH Figuarts Harley Quinn figures next to each other. Here are all the different DC Cinematic Universe SH Figuarts action figures that I have. Here are all the different SH Figuarts action figures that I have. I believe I have all the different Batman-related versions. Now let's check her out, next to some other of the Suicide Squad figures. Here she is, next to a McFarlane DC Multiverse Harley Quinn. You can see Harley Quinn's in the red dress from the second half of the film. Now look at the size difference here. Sure, McFarlane toys are 7-inch scale, and SH Figuarts are 6-inch scale. But not only that, SH Figuarts are on the lower end of 6-inch scale. They're even a little bit smaller than Marvel Legends. Here's this Harley Quinn, next to the entire line of McFarlane DC Multiverse, the Suicide Squad figures. Obviously, she's way too short to fit in with them. Even next to King Shark, who's supposed to be this giant, oversized character, he is just way too large next to the SH Figuarts Harley Quinn. Unless you want to create your own sort of version of King Shark, but scale-wise, he is just way too large. Here she is, next to a Mattel DC Multiverse Rick Flag and Captain Boomerang from the original Suicide Squad. Scale-wise, they were okay with this Harley Quinn, and they were both in the second film, but style-wise, they have quite a bit of a softer sculpt. And then, next to the squad from the first Suicide Squad film, these are Mattel DC Multiverse figures. Scale-wise, they've been pretty good with her, but style-wise, they're way too soft. Now let's check her out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how she fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix her with. Since she's an SH Figuarts action figure, they're typically on the smaller end of 6-inch collecting. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of these smaller action figure lines I collect, and work my way larger. And I'm going to include as many Harley Quinn figures as I can during these comparisons. Here she is, next to some Jazz Wars Fortnite figures. And here she is, next to some Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Harley Quinn figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Harley Quinn figures. And here she is, next to some Mezco 1/12 Collective figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here, next to some NECA figures. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Harley Quinn figures. Here she is, next to some McFarlane toys. And here she is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. And finally, next to some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. Overall, it's a pretty nice Harley Quinn figure. I'm happy we're finally getting some more figures besides just the McFarlane DC Multiverse toys from the Suicide Squad. Her sculpt's fantastic, the likeness is good, the accessories are pretty much non-existent. Yeah, I appreciate the hands and head, but I'd like some actual accessories. Her articulation is pretty good. My biggest gripe would be her height. And I know, that's what SH Figuarts are. They're pretty much the bottom end of 6-inch collecting. But for my own personal enjoyment, I would love it if she was a little bit taller. I don't need her to be 7-inch like the McFarlane toys. But there's very little with my collection that she actually fits in with. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give her a 6.5 out of 10. If she was a little bit taller, she'd easily be a 7.5. I do like the figure, she looks good, and I like the outfit. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.